Okay fam, so I've finally made it here to Singapore. As you can see behind me on the canals, Robertson Quay, but have a look what's going on behind me, guys. People are running everywhere. Don't know if you can see behind me the back of the canals there. People are jogging, keeping fit, active everywhere, which is beautiful. So this is what this channel is all about, guys. Traveling and fitness. And I don't know if you can see these guys coming up behind me. Everyone's running. I mean, there's so many people out here looking after themselves. It's brilliant. And obviously, got part of the city skyline of Singapore behind me there, but I'm on the canals. I'll be taking you around everywhere. So today's Destination Fitness with Carlos, Singapore. Enjoy, guys. And what I'm going to be doing is a lot of walking. And today's episode is going to be about using walking as exercise. And what better place to walk in a big city like Singapore, beautiful city. And look at all these people looking after themselves as well. So guys, jump on there, get walking. I'm going to speak about a few of the calories that you burn walking and stuff like that as well. Right, off we go. Let's explore Singapore a little bit. And mind you, it's only 7 a.m. guys, 7 a.m. So I'm talking a little bit quietly. Okay fam, welcome to this episode of Destination Fitness with Carlos. It is about 4 a.m. I am in Singapore's Changi Airport. Now this episode is going to be about Singapore. I'm going to be doing a lot of walking, which is where my health and wellness is going to come in. But the reason I'm filming from the airport, I'm from Sydney in Australia, Australia's biggest city. This airport must be bigger than Sydney. I decided to walk from one terminal to the other because I've got time to kill, because I can't get to my accommodation until a bit later on in the morning. I have been walking for so long that I've had to actually stop to wait because it is enormous. If you want an airport to visit that impresses you, and I'm hoping that Singapore impresses me as much as the airport does, try Changi Airport in Singapore. It is incredible. I cannot believe how far I've walked, and I haven't even got to where I need to get to yet. It is enormous, and it is actually embarrassing when I compare it to Sydney Airport. Sydney Airport looks like a little, I don't know, a little cabin compared to this place. It is like a city, literally. It's very quiet because it's early now. But anyway, this is the episode today, guys, Singapore, and if Changi Airport's anything to go by, it should be a great little episode. A lot of walking, which is where your health and wellness is going to come in. So off we go, guys. All right, fam, so I've ended up in Singapore's Chinatown. As you can see behind me there, very old little area. Probably looks like what China or Singapore used to look like ages ago. Difference I've noticed between the people here and the people in, I'll hold that up so you can see the buildings and the architecture. The people in Thailand, for example, is that I think over here they're more of Chinese background, whereas in Thailand it's a different, they have definitely a different look. But as you can see, guys, beautiful architecture. And again, I'm literally just exploring. I literally just walked down the street. It's still early, so that's why it's quiet. All these shops are going to open pretty soon. I've been here before a few years ago, but guys, look at this. Beautiful. Like I said, you feel like you're in China or in the world. Look at that, beautiful. All these buildings. I have to check what year they date back to, but you can tell that these go back quite some time. Beautiful all around here. So this is their Chinatown here in Singapore, and what I'll show you as well, if I can see some of the buildings up the top up there, that's where locals live, and a lot of the locals here live in the sort of government housing, and obviously housing here is very, very expensive in Singapore. Housing, as well as seeing a few different things here, housing, cars, everything expensive. Very, very expensive city, Singapore, to live in. But the beauty of Singapore is that if you're in the financial sector, if you're qualified, if you've got your education in finance, you can make a ton of money here. So Singapore is basically the financial hub of Asia. A lot of transactions that happen for Asia, especially things that we're dealing with from Europe, Americas, United States. All the transactions usually come through Singapore. So I'll show you the city centre itself, where you'll see it is very much a financial hub and very expensive city. and very populated. So it's only a small little place. It's an island basically, but it's got a huge population. I think it's over 5 million. So to house people, it's high rises everywhere. This Chinatown area here, the reason I like it is it's what it would have been like years ago, before the finance and everything came in after the war and all that kind of stuff, when they had to restructure their, I suppose, to make money for the people, restructure their economy, and find themselves in a different area for a small little place so they can actually make money. I'm actually next to an Indian, I'm pretty sure it's an Indian temple here behind me. I'm going to walk through the other side. Wow, there's all these little alleyways everywhere, guys. So I'm literally just finding all this out by myself, just walking down the street, literally exploring and seeing this as you're seeing it. Make sure this car behind me doesn't run me over. This is Temple Street, so this must be a temple. I'm assuming this is a Hindu temple. A lot of Indians here, guys, as well. I'm lucky though, because it is a little bit quiet, because it hasn't really picked up yet. It's still very early. It's just past 8 o'clock. I have been here a few years ago and it gets busy. So in that respect, I'm fortunate, and yes, as I thought, that is an Indian temple. And I'll just show you that as we go past here. Now the sun hasn't come out properly yet. The sunset the sunrise was only a few minutes ago. I'm going to cross the street so you can see behind me there. So that's an Indian temple behind me. Very similar to what you see in Thailand, except a lot more colourful. I'm not sure that I can film in there. I'm standing in the middle of the street, guys. Not a smart thing to do. I'm trying to make sure that you can see the temple there, and some of the side streets as well. So I'll be walking down that street, and then I'll be filming some of those high rises, guys. So again, just exploring, walking, and I'm going to show you how much or how many calories I've burnt after today, because I'm going to literally walk everywhere today doing this video. So we'll see how many calories I can actually burn. Those cars aren't beeping at me as they're coming down, not yet anyway. But guys, they always say Singapore's very clean, 100%. See the lady there behind me, cleaning the streets before everyone comes for work. Very, very clean place, guys, very clean. There you go, that's the temple, Indian temple inside there. Wow, guys, beautiful place, very clean, beautiful city, very quiet so far, which is good. I'm glad I'm out here filming now, because I'm pretty sure it's going to get hectic later on. But anyway, guys, I'll film the main buildings, the main city centre, the financial hub soon, and a few different areas, and again, it's all exploring. And this is all about health and wellness, guys. Walk around, see different areas, especially even where you live. You see so many different things. Look at all these alleyways, and even when you're at home, obviously I'm in Singapore, Thailand, all different places. You can do this at home, guys. Walk around, you'll see things that you won't normally see sitting in a car, sitting on a bus, sitting on a train, and that all helps your health and well-being. And also, it's exciting, guys. It's a bit of culture, a bit of sightseeing, and even in your own area, you learn things, you see things that you didn't know were there before. Don't know if you can hear this next to me, guys. Anyone who's Hindu, I'm pretty sure this is Hindu. Anyone who's Hindu, yeah, that's got to be Hindu, because they worship cows and all that kind of thing. And if you know what they're singing, let me know. All the shoes on the floor as well. Love it. Okay, fam, hopefully as you can see behind my shoulder here, this is Sentosa Island. It's a resort, great place for a lot of fun activities, all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to take you in there. I've stayed here before. Really, really nice place. But this guy's a really nice place, but it's also a lot of really expensive apartments on here at one end as well. But what it's really known for is being the place where you bring your kids and you get away from the mainland of Singapore. But it's really, you can walk. I'm walking over a bridge, which I'll show you at the end what else is off this bridge. But guys, Sentosa Island, let's go and have a look. Okay, fam, so this is the beach at Sentosa Island, which is basically a little walk over a bridge to from the mainland of Singapore itself, which was basically the old naval headquarters of the army or the navy here, and which has been turned into this magnificent resort. So I've been here before a few years ago. Still looks very similar. Check it out, guys, all the boats there. This water's calm. The beach goes all the way in there. There's sort of an inlet. There's a lot of activities here, guys, so many activities. So if you've got kids, definitely recommend bringing the kids down to Sentosa, because you got Universal Studios, you got Hard Rock Cafe, you've got cable cars, which I'll show you from the other side, the luge, you name it. There's literally anything you can think of there is here. Dolphin shows, water sports, water shows at night, light shows. There's literally everything here, guys. Even a casino for the adults if you wanted to try that. But guys, this is a great place to come and bring the kids. Like I said, a beautiful little beach that they've created here. And look, if I wanted suntan, it's not sunny yet. It's still early, so I think it's only about 8:30 at the moment. So not everything's open yet, which is great, because once it opens, it's going to get really busy for families and everything else. But I'm going to go to the other side where the Universal Studios and all that sort of thing is, to show you that end as well. But like I said, guys, Sentosa Island, I definitely recommend when you come to Singapore, especially if you've got families. But even if you're just a couple or you're on your own, you just want to hang out on the beach, because they don't really have beaches here. But this is beautiful. And like I said, there's heaps of stuff to do here if you want to do things as well. So check it out, Sentosa Island. As you can see, guys, got Universal Studios behind me there. That's the entrance. Your full Universal Studios with all your big rides and everything else. A great place for the kids. Bit of work going on at the moment next door to it. They're just fixing a few things up there. But again, guys, Sentosa, I definitely recommend it. I've been here before, been in Universal. It's a typical Universal, really fun. Like I said, if you've got the kids, and I don't know if you can see the cable cars up the top up there, they're doing a bit of work there. Those cable cars, you get a view over the top of the whole resort, so you really get an idea of what it all looks like. Like I said, I'm glad that I'm a little bit early. Not everything's open yet. I think they open at 10 by the looks of it. From memory, when I was here last time, they opened a bit earlier, but that might have been in peak season, because I think I came in June. But again, guys, heaps of restaurants. I mean, if you're looking for places to eat, there's Malaysian street food. I don't know if you can see the cables going up to the top, up above those white sails there. But that cable car goes all the way to a mountain on the other side of the mainland of Singapore there. So it's a great little trip as well. So there's so many things to do, and I've done literally all of it. So I can definitely recommend this place, because I've done pretty much all of those Universal, all those trips, the zip lines. I mean, listen, there's just so many to mention that there's just too many there. Now, these things aren't open yet, but a lot of restaurants as well down here. So if you do come down here and even stay down here for a few days, you'll have heaps of things to do. So anyway, guys, I'm going to head back to the mainland now. I'm going to film a little bit over the bridge that brings you over here from the mainland. There is a train that takes you straight into Sentosa. However, I said to you, this episode is about walking. It's still about fitness and working out. So while you're on holiday, so I'm going to walk it before I'll get at the end of it, work out exactly how many steps I have done, which is going to be a whole heap of steps. I'm already feeling it, and it's still early. But like I said, guys, you can walk it, but you can get a train straight there. Which is a little bit extra, because it's not on their MRT, which is their normal train line, but it's just a little bit extra just to go that one stop to get to the actual beach and everything else. But like I said, guys, that was the beach side that I showed you before. Very quiet here, it's just me. Like I said, it's still about 9 o'clock, so I think about another hour before things open up. But like I said, this is it here that I'll show you a little bit over the bridge of Sentosa Island, but highly recommended, guys, highly recommended. Okay, fam, as I showed you earlier, so that's Sentosa Island behind me. Now, what I was saying to you earlier regarding this being an old naval base, so don't know if you can see, there's still some naval boats down there. You've got your cable cars, which are going across there, which go from Sentosa all the way up to a hill up the top of the mainland there. Now, what you'll notice here at the moment, the sun's just gone down all of a sudden, but the water is actually a nice aqua colour. It's not, I mean, I don't know what's coming like on the camera. Actually, the sun's about to come out now. But as you can see, guys, this Sentosa Island, it's not really far. This is the walkway which I'm on here, which takes you to it. So I'm literally just got to walk down the end there. And that's where we come from. So you don't really need to take that little train that takes you there. A lot of people, when I was here earlier, we're still early, we're running and doing things like that down here. But like I said, you don't need to take that train. A lot of people, when you do say you're going to go to Sentosa, they recommend you take the train. It costs a bit more money, but in all honesty, you can just walk from the MRT without having to pay additional just for the train. But again, guys, like I said, if you can get a little bit of the colour of that water, it's actually beautiful. And what you also get from down here, just at the end there, they're the boats, ferries that you get if you're going to go for an excursion or break over to in Indonesia. So there's part of Indonesia which isn't far from here, and you can just get a trip down there, and they're the boats that take you down to Indonesia as well. But that's Sentosa done, guys. So now, again, walking. Remember, this episode is all about walking. So we're going to walk all the way back to the other side, and then start looking down at the city a little bit as well. Okay, fam, so I'm basically at Orchard Road, probably the most famous road in Singapore itself. But I'll tell you what, it is amazing. I've been here before, obviously, but it was a while back, maybe 10 years ago, and honestly, I can't remember that much of what it looked like at the time. But this is a real city, I'll tell you what. Very modern, an amazing city. I walked past a few, like I said, I'm doing a lot of walking in this video, but I've walked past so many apartments and buildings, and oh geez, it's just amazing, amazing city. Like I said, this is what I would call a genuine city. I mean, this is up there with all the big cities. Forget Sydney, sorry Sydney, I'm from Sydney, but this place makes Sydney look so small, so insignificant. But like I said, this is a major city, and guys, if you do get a chance to come here, do as much as you can, even in a short space of time. The city is so immense, there's so many things to do. Traffic, you can hear the cars beeping their horn behind me. Traffic is nowhere near as bad as Thailand, and I've got to admit also that a lot more organised, not as chaotic, very clean. I'm walking past all the buildings as I'm coming down, and honestly, everything's clean, everything's maintained. It's so green, so many trees. Oh geez, it's so amazing. I completely forgot how beautiful it was, but what a beautiful city. But anyway, guys, I'll try and do as much video as I can of this place, but if you get a chance, Singapore, you've got to visit. Okay, fam, as the rain slowly starts to fall, it's just sprinkling at the moment. Now I'm in the City Hall area, which is a colonial district. A lot of important government buildings down here, and of course behind me there, as you can see, another iconic building, which is the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. And as you can see there, looks like that ship on top of those three buildings. Probably looks further away on the camera than what it is. It's actually quite close. And there behind me, the financial district as well. So observations of Singapore, guys. Very big, modern, major city. Like I said earlier, when you're here, you can tell you're in a proper city. When I say proper city, I mean up there with your New Yorks and all this sort of thing. The only thing I would say is the people, probably not as friendly, if you want to call it friendly, as Thailand, simply because obviously here people are all working. You get on the trains, you get on the buses, the public transport, everything else, and you know, it's a city. So people are going to work, it's hustle bustle, no one's looking up, everyone's minding their own business, they're on their phones, they're doing their things. As you can see, that's the National Gallery of Singapore there, old colonial building. So a little bit different for the people, but they're still nice, they're doing their thing, minding their own business, but a typical city, very well organised city, very clean. Look at these roads. Like I say, the traffic, there's traffic obviously, but no, you know, the cars are all, you know, orderly and everything else. But like I said, guys, a very different city in Asia, very modern. You know, it's packed. There are the areas which are a little bit where you've got your people who are on the government housing and all this sort of thing, but they're not bad, the buildings anyway. I don't know what the living standard is like. There we go again, Marina Bay Sands. I'm going to go up there later on. But guys, again, beautiful city. Like I said, just a little bit different to Thailand, but it's nice to be in Asia and see a different side of Asia. A modern, very modern, financially stable. You know, the people here and why it's a little bit different to Thailand. Thailand, everyone's there for business, especially in Pattaya. You're going to get a lot of hellos, especially that's what the pensioners like going there. They're going to get a lot of hellos from younger women, you know, who are going to say hi to them. They're looking for business. Over here, no one's looking for their business. Over here, everyone's working, and in this financial district too. So they're making their money here. So it's a little bit different to Pattaya, but once again, I still like it. I like the hustle and bustle of the city. To visit everyone now and then. I like the quiet of Pattaya. and the relaxed nature of it. But when you get into Singapore, you feel like you're in a proper city where everything's rush, everyone's go. You can spend a few days here. I don't know if I'd stay here long term unless I was making a ton of money, but it's one of those places. But a beautiful place, guys, a beautiful place. So again, I'll be filming from, let me just spin it back. I'll be filming from up there soon. I'm just going to go charge a battery. But what a wonderful place. And look, guys, all the colonial buildings here around me, plus then you've got your big city buildings as well behind me down there as well. Very modern buildings too. Look at those beautiful colonial buildings down here. Probably way back when the British were here. Everyone speaks English here, guys. Pretty good English as well. You got the odd people that speak only Chinese by the sounds of it, and you got a lot of Indian people here too. Interestingly enough, I mean heaps, but most of them I think work in the construction industry. Probably come here from overseas. Probably workers who get paid a little bit less. But guys, well, I'm looking at this area here that I'm in, City Hall. It's all colonial buildings, beautiful. Old style buildings, look at that behind me there. Wow. And I've been here before, guys, but I don't remember walking down in this area. Look at these buildings here. And there's that beautiful building up here, which we'll go see soon. Anyway, guys, I'll sign off for now because the battery's going to die soon. And then I'll charge the battery up. And then we'll go and do a little bit more exploring some different areas. I'll get changed. I literally have come off the plane like this. I come off the plane about 3 a.m. So I'm pretty tired actually. And I'm going to walk down to another area down here. It looks pretty interesting down there as well. And then I'll start filming down there as well. Beautiful little place down there. Anyway, guys, this is where I am at, is a place called City Hall. And there's a river which is basically just in front of me as well. But I'll film when I get to this beautiful bridge up here as well. You won't be able to see it. It's just around the back there, but I just want to save the battery. But guys, this is a beautiful city. Okay guys, finally managed to get to where I was showing you just a minute ago. Again, you've got the Victoria Theatre there behind me, and Anderson Bridge just there. And obviously a beautiful Marina Bay Sands building there as well. Bit of the city financial district behind me. Check out that bridge. It's well maintained too. And this is a spot where you get a beautiful view of the Marina Bay Sands. And as you can see, you've got the river here, you've got the Singapore Eye over there, and you've got the convention centre there, which basically is supposed to be shaped, well, it is shaped like a durian, one of their famous fruits here that they're very proud of. And look at this, guys, this city centre. You've got all your convention centre here on the water. You've got another convention centre down there. You've got Marina Bay Sands, this beautiful old bridge. Some beautiful old buildings there as well. And then you've got your modern mixed in behind there. Lovely place. Okay guys, let's get up there. Hey fam, okay, so there it is behind me. As you can see, that's the Marina Bay Sands, that's the top of it. And this whole complex here is a huge shopping area, convention centre, convention area. I've finally made it down, city centre behind me, the beautiful Marina Bay itself. Wow, check it out guys, there's so many things here to look at. I can't film everything, unfortunately. I mean, the sun's just coming out as I'm speaking now. It's been on and off raining, so I've walked so much. I don't think I've walked this much in my life, to be honest. But I've walked so much, which has burnt a lot of calories. This is made up for a workout for, I think, 2 or 3 days, to be honest. Even my lower back is a little bit sore. As you know, guys, I've got a lower back issue. But the walking has made it a little bit sore, but the beauty is I've seen so many things by walking, guys. Little streets, little side streets. I'm sure there's things that even people that live here haven't seen that I've seen today. But what I'm doing, guys, I'm going to go up the top. Looks like it's going to keep raining on and off, but the thing is, it may look, as you can see, I've changed. It may look like it's not warm, but it is so humid, it is not funny. But anyway, guys, that's what we come for, Marina Bay Sands. Got the views up there, sun's peeking out, so I'm hoping it stays out. I can see there's clouds as well, but we'll see what happens. But what a city, guys, what a city. And this shopping complex here, guys, is amazing. People doing all their TikToks and photos here. It's really cool. Cool little place. Tourists all over the place, guys. But again, what a city. Anyway, guys, let's try and get up the top up there. I'll tell you how much it costs. I'll give you a few little tips for when you get here as well on getting around. But wow, I'm buggered. I'm tired. But, oh, what an adventure. Love it. There we go, guys. Let's go. All right, fam. So finally got here. Windy as. But there's what we come here for. The views of Singapore. All the way to the ocean on the other side. And the longest infinity swimming pool in the world is up that way. But you can't go in there unless you're a resident or you're using it, unfortunately. But still, pretty cool. Wow. There you go. All of Singapore behind you. And I'll tell you what, the city's so big, it's never ending. It just goes on. You probably can't even see how far it goes because it gets lost in the horizon. And I think it might even rain a little bit at some point. But wow. I've been here before, obviously, guys, but it's been a number of years. So let me see if I can show you the infinity pool on the other side as well. Again, this is the longest infinity pool in the world. Just over there. And only the hotel guests can use those, obviously, which makes sense because they pay a ton of money. Don't want everyone jumping in there, taking up all the space. And there's Marina Bay down the bottom, all the convention centres and everything. And that area all down here. I think I've walked the whole thing today. But down the bottom down there is where I'm staying at Robertson Quay, as the water goes in along the canals down the bottom there. Oh, what a huge city, guys. It's a shame that you can't see the full scope of it all the way down the other end. It actually goes on, it just goes on. You see buildings, buildings, buildings all the way. Wow. Got restaurants up here, you can have a drink, which is great. A lot of people here as well, guys. And thank God the rain hasn't come, although I can see that it might come. Well, it's raining in certain places. You can see it from here. But here we've got a deck as well, guys, so that's the observation deck. Last time I came here many years ago, it was really hot in June, and it was packed. But there you go, guys, again. Some beautiful views. And down here is where the Formula One is. So that's the track down the bottom there. You can probably still see the grids. That's where they go through down there for Formula One. And that's the eye as well, the Singapore eye down the bottom. And the airport is down in that direction. But guys, you see forever down here. Wow, it just goes on and on and on. And the city, I don't know if you can tell, but the city is so big. It just keeps going all the way down there. Just buildings, buildings, buildings. Huge. And out here's the bay. I know you can see the ships out there. But Singapore, a main financial hub and a main shipping hub as well. Hopefully they don't pick up too much wind as well in there. There must be, just looking out there, I reckon at least 100 ships just out there, waiting to come in, offload and pick up goods. Singapore, that's what Singapore's known for, obviously. So wow, what a place. And guys, it was 26 Singapore dollars to come up here, so it's not that expensive for one person, obviously, and there's family tickets as well, but only $26. So that was pretty cool. Wow, guys, I've literally walked. I'm looking at the streets from up here now. I'm noticing how much all the way in the back down the city down here, all the way in the back where the canals are, Robertson Quay, down the back down here. I've literally just walked and explored, guys. So it's pretty amazing. And I'm tired. My quads are killing me. As I said, guys, this is about fitness and health and wellness as well. All that walking, my quads are actually sore. Sometimes I work out, do legs, and my quads don't get sore. So out in the back, you can see it's going to rain soon, but at least, thank God, the sun's come out so you can see nice and clearly up here. what a city, guys, what a city. I know I keep saying it, but it's amazing. Imagine working in those buildings there and living in them. They're residential and work as well. Pretty windy up here, but still doesn't take away from the views. Anyway, guys, I'm going to relax now and enjoy the views. Might even get a drink, to be honest. I'm so thirsty. But there you go, guys. That's what it looks like when you're up here. And that infinity pool looks amazing as well. Damn, I wish I could get in there and take some nice videos and nice shots up there. That would be amazing. Wow, sun's coming out as well. There you go, guys. Singapore. Morning, fam, from Singapore again. So I'm basically down here at Clarke Quay. Beautiful spot on the water, not far from where I'm far from where I'm staying at Robertson Quay, which is just down the end there. And one thing which I noted as I was walking around is just how clear everything is. There is no pollution, no nothing out here. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. Lots of people running. I don't know if you can see them out the back there, like I showed you yesterday. But what I did notice is that the cars are you can't have a car that's more than 10 years old. So basically, what that means is the pollution side of things, there's not much pollution. So that's a great thing to take note. I mean, if you want to cut down the pollution, cars that are more than 10 years old, this city is clear as anything. I don't know if you can see all these buildings here behind me. You can see everything, and it's one thing I just only noticed this morning. I realised, wow, there's no pollution. Some place like Phuket, Pattaya, where I'm staying in Thailand, the pollution is terrible sometimes, and that comes from Bangkok. And we're 1.5 hours from Bangkok, and I'm assuming it's simply because of the age of all the vehicles and everything else. But that's one thing to take note, guys. Like I said, it's a well-organised city here in Singapore. The whole country, everything's organised. The train system, buses, everything. But again, the other thing is the cars. I mean, cars not older than 10 years, and you've got a beautiful, beautiful, clear city, clear air. So it's really nice, which is why you find a lot of people, as you can see, just running down behind me, jogging and everything else in this city. I don't think you could do that in Bangkok, to be honest with you, because of how strong the pollution is there. So that is great. Hey, look, coming back behind me, more people jogging. Literally, like I said yesterday, when I first got here, the amount of people doing exercise here. I'm just looking across the quays on the other side, riding bicycle, cycling, and I mean proper cycling, walking as well, obviously. And you know, this channel is all about health and wellness, fitness. And that's one thing that I've noticed here. They are really into their health and wellness in Singapore. And there you see the sands that we went to, Marina Bay Sands Hotel just up there that we went to yesterday. And this little area here is a nice little spot. I mean, I love all the buildings, all the modernness of Singapore, but also what you've got here is these sort of areas, the quays, which are just on the water. So, as you know, Singapore is very, very important in Asia in terms of all the goods coming in, being then taken out. But what you've got is these little heritage areas, which are beautiful. And it gives you an idea of what Singapore probably used to look like before those big high-rises there. You had these buildings here, all along the bay here. And this is Clarke Quay. So, and the buildings are so well maintained, all nicely painted, and it looks beautiful. I mean, just walking down here, you feel like you're in another place, like maybe old China years ago or something like that. And a lot of the people here, like I said yesterday, I think mainly Chinese background, whereas in Thailand they look very different. Still very business-like here. People are nice, but you know, they're getting on with work, so you don't get to speak to too many people, obviously. But I mean, in terms of this area here, Clarke Quay, Robertson Quay, where I'm staying, very similar to this. I mean, if you want to see, I mean, sun's coming out now. Look how bright these buildings are. They paint them beautifully and keep them all well maintained. There's a lot of these are all restaurants down here, but they're all you can see the colonial style buildings. I'll try and pop the camera up so you can see them. So it's all colonial style, back in the British, probably early last century, but they're beautiful. And all the little alleyways and laneways you can see behind me there. Obviously at night these all get very busy, but all these little buildings here are all those old colonial style buildings. Beautiful. So I love this side of it as well. So the fact that you've got the mix of the modern and the history. So if you like your culture, I know a lot of people that watch these sort of channels, I know it's all about health and wellness, a lot of walking, but culturally, these guys look after their culture as well. There's beautiful buildings. And there were beautiful restaurants as well. Didn't get a chance to really check them out. I was really tired yesterday. I said to you guys I was going to tell you how many Ks I walked. I'll tell you what, I lost count. I literally walked, I would say easily, I would have done about 20-25 kilometers, almost a half marathon in walking, to the point where near the end I had to cheat slightly. I had to actually get the MRT. So the MRT is their train system. So look at that. That was all the heritage area behind you there, and this is the modern right next to it. So yeah, the MRT is their train system, and that works really well. Very inexpensive, guys. That's the one thing over here, you know, even though it's a very modern city, it's still pretty inexpensive in terms of the cost for the trains and transport. Now, cost of living, I'm pretty sure is very high when it comes to purchasing cars. I know that is very expensive, which is why they got the 10-year-old car limit. They're trying to get people off the cars, but also purchasing housing. Very, one of the most expensive places in the world when it comes to housing. Obviously, it's mainly apartments, as you can see around me. All apartments. There's old and new. Government supplies apartments for the older residents as well here. But the cost of living in that respect is very high. If you want to own your own place to live, own your own car and things like that, you've got to have a very good job and making some very good money. So that's where the cost of living side comes in. Thinking whether I should walk down here and go to the water. But basically, that's where the cost of living side comes in, guys. So the cost of living is very high, but travel is inexpensive. I just saw parking here in the middle of the city. The parking was $1.20 an hour during the weekdays, 60 cents an hour on the weekends. That's Singapore dollars, which is very similar to Australian dollars, which is nothing. Now, in Australia, you're looking at $8 to $9 an hour to park on the weekend in the city. So, you know, 8 times the amount of what it is here in Singapore. But again, guys, it's a beautiful place. And like I said, I reckon I did, and I'm only assuming, close to 25 kilometers walking yesterday. So I'm a bit sore today. Won't be walking too much. I might try and do a tour as well later, but we'll see how we go. But this thing, guys, the older part of Singapore. These guys here are doing their exercise. There you go. The beautiful colonial Clarke Quay. Okay, fam, so as you can see behind me, I found a little place called Little India. That's the MRT station, and the area is called Little India, the suburb's called Little India, the station's called Little India. So I'm assuming there's going to be Indians here. So let's have a look. Wow, so guys, Little India is pretty much Little India. There's Indian people everywhere. So this must be where community was based very early on in their history here in Singapore. But check out this building behind me. And a lot of the buildings, colonial style buildings, very colourful, very pretty. Wow, check those out. Beautiful. I'm sure there's a lot more like this here too, guys. But yeah, can definitely tell there's an Indian community based here. But check out that building, guys, that colonial building. Well looked after, beautiful. A lot of people from overseas down here. But yeah, different. Only thing, guys, is I find a lot of Indian people, they like to stare at you and really eyeball you all the way as you're walking along. So you just got to get used to that kind of thing. I'm sure it's just their nature. They don't mean nothing by it. But yeah, they can look a little bit like, they look at you like, what are you doing here? But anyway, check it out, guys. Again, colonial style area. Must be an old place. I know there's temples down here somewhere. So I'll try and find them. But guys, it smells too, or like all the essence you can smell. Wow. All the essence, all the Indian spices, you can smell them everywhere. Flowers, you know. Just trying to cross the road here without getting run over. Oh, check me out. I'm crossing between, lucky. I left about a millimetre gap to get through that car there. But yeah, if you look, everyone's having their breakfast, or still early, maybe not breakfast, maybe an early lunch. Little back streets here. Look at that. Well, I've ended up in a little back street. I've no idea where I am. I'm sure this doesn't go anywhere. Oh wow guys, this is what happens when you travel, do a little bit of adventure. Okay, so this area is basically just... Oh, let me give it a look. This area looks like it leads up to a temple at the end there. So this must be the back of where all the shops are on the other side. But again, it's where all the deliveries come in. The back entrances. And I can see, if you look on the other side there, there's a temple up the top up there, so you can see that as well. Very colourful that area. It's very nice. So this again is on the MRT, the MRT station's Little India. The place is called Little India. So I'll have to look a little bit more into the community that came here originally. Must have been years ago. But there's a lot of Indians here at the moment. So they've obviously made this their cultural area where they've all come to. Oh wow, just in front of me here guys, there's a beautiful temple. Okay, there we go. Just across the road, make sure I don't get run over. There you go guys, look at all the flowers and stuff. I think that's what the Indians used to put on their blessings for their temples. There you go, they've got a cross here between those cars. There you go guys. Whoop, there's a bus. There's their temple there behind us. What's this called? Masi Magam Ramatsaban. Obviously means something. But girl, look at this guys, it's all colonial, colourful buildings. Heaps of colours here, wow. And even the smells, guys. If India's anything like this, I think India's a lot more busy, but the smells, wow. I can tell you in the Indian area, all the spices, all the essence, watch out for the buses. Wow. And there you go, there's their temple. Okay guys, so I'm just walking down through the other streets. I've gone through all the back streets there, very similar to this, very colourful. And basically guys, all Indian shops all the way as you go around. So so many things guys, wow. Singapore really amazes you if you sort of get out and explore a little bit. But so many things on you guys, look at behind me. All those old shops and all these Indian shops, wow. A lot of knockoff brands obviously here, but even foods and things like that, wow. It's amazing. Check it out when the sun's there, it's a lot better, you see. Anyway guys, so that's Little India for you. But yeah, you can spend quite a bit of time here walking around. I'm sure if you like Indian food, they'll have some great restaurants here too, I'm sure. There you go. Okay fam, so this brings an end to the little journey, little vacation, little adventure in Singapore. Back to where I started. Don't know if you remember the very first episode, and I was filming the guys all looking after themselves here, running and keeping fit and active. One thing that I'll say is Singapore definitely is a place where people keep active, look after themselves. Health and wellness is a priority here for the people that live here, which is great to see, and which is what this channel is all about as well. So in that regards guys, I said to you yesterday, I must have done about 20-25k. I would say I did about 30 kilometers of walking alone. The beauty of Singapore is that you can actually walk around this city if you want to. When you look at the metro system and the metro timetable and the maps, which is very much based on the British underground system, you will find that it looks like everything's pretty far away, but in all honesty, everything's very close. All the places that you go to, everything's really close to each other. So try walking if you can. If you don't want to, what I found is that you can get a tourist travel pass, and you can jump on and off buses and the metro as often as you can. So you can also do that, but do try and walk around, look after yourself, health and wellness while you're traveling, and explore a bit, because what you will find is that you can get around without needing to get the metro everywhere, unless you're going somewhere a little bit further out. The other thing that I'd say is if you want to come to a city that mixes old and new, where you got culture, a lot of the ancient, or I wouldn't say ancient, but the colonial buildings, and then you got these mega modern buildings and skyscrapers and things like that. You'll love Singapore. The beauty of Singapore as well is that you find a lot of the local people are also doing pretty well here. You've got the jobs and everything else. When you do travel, sometimes you find the local people, especially in places like, for example, in Pattaya, for an example, it's always a lot of foreigners that own businesses, and even if you go to Bangkok, a lot of foreigners in their suits and that walking around. Over here, you'll find everybody like that, guys. Your local people and your foreigners as well. Obviously, Singapore, very high financial area. It's a financial capital of Asia, but it's also very important financially globally. So if you want to see the high-end things, if you're into that kind of stuff, there's high-end everywhere, guys, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to eating, when it comes to eating out in those high rises on those rooftop terraces. That's all over the place. So if you're into that, you will find it here. But if you want the quaint little corner, cheaper food stores, the typical local foods, you're going to find that as well. So it's a mix of everything. It's beautiful place, but you really got to get out and explore a little bit as well. Again, guys, that brings it to an end. I've loved Singapore. I love the mixture. Very different to Pattaya in Thailand, but the beauty of that also is the fact that you see a different side of Asia as well. A more upbeat, more modern, an area where you sort of everyone's on the go and very business-like, but very clean. Very everything is in tune. Everyone's in touch with everything. Everything's organised. It's just so organised there, guys. Very clean. I mean, look. I mean, this is a restaurant area. I mean, nothing on the footpath. In the morning when I get up early, they're cleaning the footpaths. They're looking after everything. So if you do that, guys, you're going to find this place. You'll fall in love with it. Only thing is, obviously, if you wanted to stay here, because obviously I do my lifestyle change consultations as well. If you do want to move here, you're going to need a little bit of money behind you, so that's the only thing. But in regards to travelling and taking the chance to look after yourself, walking, tours, and seeing a different part of the world, I highly recommend it. So here we go, guys. I've loved Singapore, missed home a little bit, missed Pattaya a little bit. But this has definitely put a little bit of icing on the cake in coming back to seeing another beautiful place. Ciao from Singapore, guys. Bye-bye.